everyone, and welcome back to YE Biz Chats. I am here with the wonderful, talented, amazing bass-baritone opera singer Brian McQueen. How are you today?
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's our honor. So just tell us briefly about yourself, where you're from, where you're currently based right now. We'd love to hear about your background.
Okay, well, I'm from Columbia, South Carolina. I am a graduate of the University of South Carolina. Yeah. I currently live in New York, in Manhattan, and I have lived here just shy of 6 years. I guess I left Columbia about, a while ago. I left Columbia and I went to graduate school in Arizona and then again in Ohio. And then I did like part of my postgraduate studies at Indiana University. And then after Indiana, I came to New York. And so, yeah, I'm a classical singer, mostly singing opera and new works, but classical singer is like a more like an umbrella term that includes like art song and recital and oratorial as well as opera. And I've been doing that here in New York for pretty much the entire time I've been here. And I did, in addition to like singing, I've done some acting as well. I've worked with performance artists who do new works. I'm currently in fellowship or in residence rather with an arts organization called Shashama, which is an organization here in New York and Manhattan that provides space and opportunities for artists of all kind. I was a fellow with an organization called Emerging Leaders in New York Arts, ELNIA. So I did a fellowship with them, and then I worked with a couple of performance artists to devise plays and sort of like interdisciplinary works that have to deal with intersectionality of being like queer and queer of color, and sort of just like unpacking, exploring masculine performativity and feminist theory. So I've had an opportunity to do much more in New York than just opera, but that's my main gig here. And thankfully, I mean, I'm coming up on my 6-year anniversary of living in New York, and I can say that, you know, it's been like a wild ride, but it definitely has helped me in my like personal development and in understanding my value as a person and as an artist. And I know for a fact, I mean, like, I'm smart, I'm talented, I'm savvy, I could do many things if I wanted to do them, you know, but singing is my passion, it's my bloodline. And so, you know, like James Baldwin says, you have to go the way your blood beats, right? So my bloodline is art and high art, and always trying to find a way to marry my art with my activism and create space for other people like myself and underrepresented people, marginalized people. And so, yeah, I stuck it out. And now I have my own like beautiful apartment in Manhattan, and I'm with a great voice teacher, and I have a network, and I've done some pretty important work. Right now, no one's working, which is just a bit daunting, but probably a much needed rest. But things are going well, and I am very, very pleased that I stuck it out.
Yes, that's awesome. There's no reward without struggle. So thank you for sharing that with us because
Right.
I'm transitioning myself from from being a full-time student to, you know, a full-time working professional. Like, I'm definitely starting to experience some of the things that you talked about. So honestly, that's pretty uplifting for me. And it also reminds me that, you know, hey, no reward comes without struggle.
It doesn't. You know, like Sha'Ante, it's really important, I think, to always check in with yourself. And I didn't always do that consistently. And I think once I did, things began to sort of gel for me. And I mean, I don't know what, I'm not religious, but I don't know what anybody else's belief is, but I do believe in a higher power. And I do believe that once you begin to like center yourself and listen, things will come together, because like the universe wants you to be a good steward of the gifts that it's bestowed upon you. And once you understand that, you know, what you have is valuable and who you are is valuable, then you begin to act in such a way. And then the universe is like, okay, so they've got it. So now I can give them more because they're going to honor it. Right.
So for our next question, I'm dying to know, when did you first connect with the Auntie Karen Foundation and Mrs. Karen Alexander Banks?
Oh, Karen Alexander Banks now. Yes. I love her so much. I connected with Karen. I believe it was in like 2003 or 2002 maybe, because she's a friend of my mom's. And then I found out that she was also like a singer, beautiful singer. Beautiful woman, but beautiful singer as well, and sang at University of South Carolina. And Karen just sort of like took me on, kind of like she just became like a mentor to me. You know, like I would go to her house and I would like, I think I would like help her with like papers or something, and I would just like. And now it's so funny you say that, because like when I think about my life, I often like touch back on those memories. Even like when I like decorating my apartment, I think about like there's not a lot on my walls, but the reason that is the case is because like Karen taught me that it was important that when you buy art, that you buy from like Black and people of color, and you buy local and you support artists. So like every piece of art that I have, it comes from a Black or other POC artists from this area or someone I know. And, you know, it's not super expensive, but like these people are on their way and I've supported them as an artist. Like little things like that I learned from Karen, and they stick with me. And then her love of jazz, and just her love of art and her understanding of like how art can transform people's lives and instill confidence in people, and it's particularly in young people. My mom had an arts camp growing up, so I saw that, but also like Karen just sort of like, Karen had a way of like speaking to me as a young adolescent and early, like, you know, young adult, in a space in my life, a time in my life, and also in a space during that time that didn't really allow for me to have agency. And when I was around her, I felt completely valid. I felt completely valid. So I mean, I've known Karen for like, you know, a large part of my life, and she's greatly impacted my life. So I think I got involved with Auntie Karen in like 2004, I think, and I actually did a tour. I had a fellowship with the Tono International Arts Association, and I did a tour of recitals in Japan, and I took Olivia with me. So I took the Olivia doll to Japan from like Tokyo and Sendai, Morioka, like sharing with people about the Auntie Karen Foundation. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's just like great memories. So yeah, I think I got involved in like 2004, maybe a little before then. And if I'm going to be completely honest, I don't remember all the projects that I worked on, but I do know there was a great deal of like community outreach and personal development, and it was just fun. It was just really like, it was fun to see that there's this person, this beautiful Black woman who's smart and talented and successful, and sort of pivoted from her like corporate life, very lucrative corporate life, to nonprofit work to help other like young people, particularly people of color, use art to create space for themselves. It's like, oh, okay, so wait, you're doing all of this very well, and you're giving it all up just to help us?
It's a very selfless thing.
Who does that, right? Who does that?
Somebody great.
And it's not like, and if you know Karen, it's like she's not like a sort of like oh, I'm Karen Alexander Banks, like look at me, self-promoter. She promotes the work, she promotes the product, the projects, she promotes the mission. And so it really is selfless. It really is. And it's just, and I mean that just like oozes out of every pore, and it's just like part of the fabric of who she is. And I'm forever grateful for knowing her and for that opportunity to work with Auntie Karen. I'm so excited that it's still in existence. I think I actually like gave a little donation like a few months ago, and I got this letter in the mail like thanking me for doing that. And it's like framed and like, in my little drawer. That was it's a great organization. I'm happy it still exists. I'm happy with the work that she's doing. Just little things like hanging out with her at her house, or chatting with her, or calling her, bouncing ideas off of her through email. And like she would always show up and support me in my concerts. And also like, like me getting access to like the Legends of Jazz. Like I think like first time I saw Diane Reeves in person, live, was at the Legends of Jazz that Karen did. Like Karen did that for that community. In Columbia, South Carolina, how many things do you have like that?
Not a lot.
Not a lot, right? And you have these beautiful Black jazz legends coming to this city, and you have like Columbia's Black elite, and maybe not elite, but people have access to this because Karen created this. She's phenomenal. Yeah, she really is.
What role would you say that the Young Entrepreneurs Conference played in your professional and creative journey?
Excuse me. It definitely gave me like the tools and the confidence to be a self-starter. Because when you're an artist, you are really an entrepreneur. Like for me, it's like most of my work, like I get like 11 1099s, right? Like, so I'm an independent contractor basically. So if I do a project, it ends, right? I'm not like housed, I'm not on Festspiel in Germany or whatever. So like I'm not housed in this organization. Like I'm an artist in residence with Shashama, but like that's a fee, and it happens quarterly. And once that ends, I'm jobless. Just like being a self-starter and being savvy, and just invoicing. What do you do with your taxes? How do you promote yourself? Branding yourself. Simple things like that, like just like organization and like understanding what your mission is, and like how not to compromise that, but also how to brand that and package that so that you can like sell it and create other opportunities for yourself. I definitely gained a great deal of those tools from the Auntie Karen Foundation and the Young Entrepreneurs Conference. And I really am that kind of person, but I had to really like understand that you have to be a business person as an artist. And I definitely sort of like touched back on the skills that I learned as a young entrepreneur and working with the Auntie Karen Foundation to blend those ideas and blend those personalities, and stick up for myself as an artist, and I definitely sort of like touched back on the skills that I learned as a young entrepreneur and working with the Auntie Karen Foundation.
What is something that you wish you had known then, that you obviously know now?
So funny that you asked that, because I was just looking at like my mom from time to time will send me like pictures of myself. Like, who is that person? Like, she sent me a clip of me in the newspaper in Greenville, South Carolina, when I was at Governor's School for the Arts. And I'm just like, who is that little person? If I could go back and talk to that person, I'd just be like, oh, sweetheart, you're so adorable. Also, this is what you need to do with your life. So many things I would say. As a young entrepreneur, I would say ask questions. Ask questions and consider the source before considering the information. Life skills and someone who's thriving in your industry, and listen to what they're doing, you know, and always check in with yourself, check in with spirit, and save your money.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's a huge one.
Save your money. You know, when you might have to fund your own project, when, you know, you can't find people to invest in your project, or you do find them, but like the stipulations to that investment might mean like you have less creative control. You don't want what you want to do, your vision, to be dependent upon other people.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So if you have to like front it for yourself or do it for yourself, do it.
Everyone, if you'd like to look into him more or see what he's currently working on, go to brianmcqueen.com. Is there any final words that you would like to give to our guests?
Here's what I'll say. One of my favorite poems is called, it's by Alice Walker, and it says, "The nature of this flower is to bloom." Just trust that everything's working out for your good, and listen and be still and speak positively about yourself. You know, like I have like little post-its on my bathroom mirror and on my refrigerator with affirmations and quotes. Like that stuff really makes a difference. It does, because you have to train your internal dialogue to be affirmative. And, you know, you're just inherently worthy. And sometimes the road to understanding that may look ugly and messy and people may judge you, but it's yours, honey, and you just own it and you work towards it and you figure it out. But make sure that that's the intention.